right.
Tough act to follow there.
Yeah, very tough act. Barry, it's so great to have you here. 2015 will go down as a year of very bold moves from Microsoft, whether it's their new family of devices, like the Surface, or it is the Azure in the cloud, or even the moves in the advertising business and Windows 10 being such a massive hit. This year, Microsoft's been making a lot of headlines. Consumers are noticing, the press is noticing, and Wall Street's noticing too. Microsoft stock's at an all-time high. It's a pretty fascinating moment, but in this room, the big news this year was Microsoft announcing that after over 2 decades of being a leader in the direct sales business, changing up the way that you're doing things. Pretty huge announcement. Can you unpack that for us?
I can. That was a pretty huge build-up to it.
Okay.
So if we play back to the announcement we made in July, it was about taking a partner-led approach from a field selling as well as ad tech platform perspective, which meant we announced a new relationship with AOL, and we went deeper with our partnership with AppNexus. And obviously, it was a pretty big strategic bet and a pretty significant shift in terms of how we thought about our responsibility to our publishers for their monetization.
What was the genesis of this? Was this something that happened overnight, or was this something that had been building up over some period of time?
Well, after hearing Brian this morning, I feel like we're really slow. If you think about that 10-year analogy that he used. But it actually started when our relationship started 5 years ago. So we were on this stage last year, and we talked about wanting to be all in.
Yep.
We talked about wanting to experiment faster. And we did some good work. We added 22 markets to our total of 58 running with AppNexus. Those markets included China and Russia. We tripled the amount of volume that we have on AppNexus, averaging 50 billion impressions a month. And we also saw the lift in revenue from those bets that we made, but we still didn't think it was far enough in terms of taking advantage of what the market wanted and what our partnership could actually do.
Okay, so what's the new state of the world for Microsoft in the ad sales business? What's the new go-to-market motion?
Great. So again, we operate in 58 markets, but let me talk about 19 of them.
Okay.
So in 9 markets that include the U.S., Canada, and UK, we're partnering with AOL. They're our field selling muscle in those 9 markets. We're still running the AppNexus tech underneath that. Mm-hmm. And then in 10 markets in Western Europe, we took a little bit of a different turn on that, where we significantly increased our partnership with you, and we've taken those markets 100% programmatic.
100% programmatic is something that's been talked about, but not that many companies have actually tried it and pulled it off. How did you get started?
So it started with a really strong appetite for learning and for experimenting. And we kind of started with this what if. What if we took the attributes that drive the I/O business today, premium inventory, rich media, large formats, data. What if we ran a simulation with putting those same assets available through a programmatic motion side by side with an I/O? And we chose 4 Nordic countries to do that experiment, where we started at the beginning with, what's the different sales message that our field has to have? And we learned and we worked through becoming evangelists and worked about merchandising. It also gave us a great opportunity to really check the temperature of the markets. Were they ready to trade this way? Could they react?
Yep.
So we did that 6 months ago, and the results were positive with the KPIs that we measured to make us want to go a little bit further.
Okay, so going further, so that was phase 1. Try it out in the Nordics. What was phase 2?
So phase 2 started in July of this year, where we pulled the cord on accepting IOs and went 100% programmatic in those 10 Western European countries. And that first instance of shutting down the IO business as a sales leader was frightening, but we trusted the tech, we trusted the partnership, and we trusted that the market was ready for this. So the first KPIs that we looked at out of the gun were, how's strip rate doing, how's RPM doing, and expectations were exceeded. We obviously care deeply about the core KPI of revenue, and that, again, exceeded our expectations. But we also looked at two other variables in terms of the timing that it took to actually flip faster than we expected. And the second one, which was key for the partnership, was how quickly we could turn over our portfolio and make those IO-based assets now available programmatically. And the speed of which that happened was also beneficial.
Got it. So 58 markets worldwide, working with AppNexus tech across all of them. You've got the 9 markets working with AOL on the field sales, 10 markets fully programmatic now in Europe. Where do you go from here?
We continue to push to do what's right for our publishers, just to optimize the monetization opportunity that we have.
Okay. I mean, speaking of publishers, obviously it's been the theme of the first half of the conference, and we've got a room full of publishers here today, or quite a number of them. Obviously, Microsoft has been a leader in this space and is driving real innovation. What would be your advice to any publishers out there in the room?
Yeah, so the themes came up, I think, a couple times today. First being is, have those big, bold, aggressive goals, but while you have those goals, maintain the ability to track progress by achieving small wins along the way. So it maintains the momentum and it maintains the belief. The second is to, again, adopt a culture of just constant experimentation. I think the third suggestion would be, play devil's advocate. Take the seat of the buyer and really road test the fact of, is this new sales strategy going to actually pull more revenue and make it easier to transact? And then, finally, just make sure you pick the right partner.
Okay, great. So what else is going on? I talked about all the big announcements at Microsoft. What's the one thing that you're most excited about?
Well, you hit on it at the beginning in terms of what's been happening with our launch of Windows 10. Windows 10 is important from a consumer perspective, but also important as we build more relationships with app developers in that ecosystem. So I thought we'd spend a minute and hear from Todd Bricks from the Windows team in terms of what's going down with Windows 10.
Sounds great.
It's familiar. It's the same Windows desktop experience that people love. It's only better. It provides brand new innovative experiences that customers really love and enjoy, from Cortana and having their own personal digital assistant to having revolutionary new input mechanisms like speech or gesture. Not only does it run Office, custom built and designed to take advantage of Windows 10, but Windows 10 also includes all the things that have historically made people productive. Windows 10, simply stated, is the most secure version of Windows ever, full stop, built to defend you and your private information in the world we live in today. Over 110 million people have already upgraded their existing Windows 7 or Windows 8 systems to Windows 10. The Windows Store has brought together apps, games, music, video, and TV shows all into one place. In just the first 10 weeks of Windows 10 availability, we've seen over 1.5 billion store visits. In addition, users have engaged with the store almost twice the rate that they have with the previous version of Windows.
So Michael, I think the story there is that with Windows 10, we're going to continue to bring a growing source of premium inventory. Mm-hmm. And that inventory crosses PC, crosses mobile, it crosses tablet. So with all within one buy, marketers will be able to access that, and web developers will also be able to take advantage of it for additional monetization streams.
Very cool. Congrats on all the success with Windows 10. And we are looking forward. I mean, it's really cool to see Microsoft embracing automation and embracing partnerships as a core part of our strategy, of its strategy moving forward. We're thrilled to be a part of it and look forward to having you back next year and talking about even more ways that we partner together. So fantastic to have you here. Thanks so much.
Great.
Barry.
Thanks, Michael.
Okay.